Mint gum can make your mouth feel like someone cracked open a freezer door in there, which is rude because your tongue did not sign up to become a popsicle. Welcome back to Tidbits, and today we are poking at that weird little gap between feeling cold and actually being cold. Imagine your mouth as a cozy sketchbook cabin, tongue on the couch, tiny wall thermostat reading normal, and then a mint leaf and a scarf sneak through the window with suspicious little gremlin energy. The strange part is that the chill is real to you, but the temperature change is not doing anything dramatic. After peppermint gum, toothpaste, or one of those after-dinner mints that tastes like a polite restaurant receipt, breathing in can suddenly feel sharper, crisp, almost icy. But your saliva and tongue are still hanging around body temperature territory, not ice cube territory. In the cabin, the room has not really changed much. The mint gremlin just taps the thermostat and the dial flips from normal to cold, like it has been waiting all day to be theatrical. That thermostat has a real-life version, and its slightly unromantic name is TRPM8. It is a receptor sitting on sensory nerve endings, and one of its jobs is to notice cool temperatures, especially below about 26 degrees Celsius or 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Real cold can activate it, but menthol, the cooling chemical in mint, can also fit into that receptor and switch it on chemically, like a fake key opening the cold door. Same alarm, different culprit. In our little mouth cabin, one hand is cold air pressing the button, and the other hand is menthol pressing the exact same button while trying to look innocent. Here is the part your brain probably wants to file a complaint about. It does not have a tiny thermometer in your mouth giving calm, objective updates. It mostly trusts signals. When those TRPM8 receptors fire, the message travels through the trigeminal nerve, a major face and mouth sensory network that reports touch, pain, and temperature. So the brain receives a note that basically says, cold in the mouth, and your brain, doing its best with the memo it got, interprets that as cool freshness. Cut to the doodle brain at the front desk putting on mittens dramatically, while the tongue cabin thermometer is just sitting there like, not really? And mint gets even cheekier when you breathe in. Air moving across wet mouth surfaces can create a small, real cooling effect because evaporation carries away a bit of heat. Usually that would be mild, the kind of tiny physics your mouth would barely bother to mention. But menthol has already turned up the cold sensor's sensitivity, so ordinary room temperature air suddenly enters the scene with snow boots on. Mint is basically a tiny liar that makes normal air seem like it came from a ski lodge. Once you notice that trick, you start seeing the body's other chemical buttons. Chili peppers pull a similar prank in the opposite direction. Capsaicin, the spicy chemical in peppers, activates TRPV1, a heat and pain sensor, which is why hot sauce can feel hot even though it is not physically boiling your tongue. Menthol presses the cool button, capsaicin presses the hot button. Both are chemistry pretending to be weather, and honestly, the mouth cabin is not zoned for this many dramatic visitors. A tiny chili pepper barges in yelling, "I do the opposite button," gets erased out of the margin, and the mint gremlin retakes the thermostat like this was always its office. So mint does not freeze your mouth. It changes the signal your nerves send, and your brain turns that signal into a chilly little experience because that is the information on the paper note. Back in the cabin, the thermostat is flashing "Brrr." The brain is bundled up in a scarf and mittens, but the small thermometer beside the tongue still reads, "Not actually much colder." Then the mint gremlin winks, peels off the thermostat label that says temperature, and replaces it with signal. That is the tiny trick hiding inside fresh breath. Not winter, just a button being pushed. As always, stay curious, because daily life is full of little body glitches pretending to be weather reports. And if there is another ordinary sensation or tiny life mystery you want the Tidbit sketchbook to scribble through next, leave it in the margins for